Welcome to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. In this episode, we'll be speaking with the team from Arkade. This conversation was recorded on May 12th, 2023, live on Twitter Spaces. The views and expressions in this AMA do not represent the views of Kadena Ecosystem directly and are not to be considered as financial advice. Please make sure to do your own research on the projects presented. Also make sure to follow and subscribe to our account to be alerted of new uploads. Now let's get started. Enjoy. Welcome everybody to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. Today we have back with us the good folks over at Arkade. They are working hard, building things, building a very amazing platform. So why don't we just start off with a little introduction, and just in case anyone listening to this has never heard of Arkade, which if you're in the Kadena ecosystem, I find that very hard to believe. But let's just start off with just the quick little elevator pitch of what Arkade's all about, and we'll go from there.
Amazing. Thank you, Chris. And hello, everyone. My name's Patrick. I'm one of the co-founders of Arkade. I kind of deal with a lot of the business development stuff on the back end that some of it's visible, some of it's not. But I'm also a developer with Norris. Norris deals more with the pact. I deal more with the gaming side and general QOL. But ultimately what Arkade is we are a gaming platform. And ultimately, we just want to make it easy for you to mesh the world of Web 2 and Web 3 through gaming. We have an NFT marketplace, which a lot of people know us for. But prior to that, we were an NFT project called the Kadena Bulls. We wanted to do 3 different tiers of collections, one being 80s, one being 90s, and one being 2000s. Nostalgic sells, so everybody kind of can, I guess the right word is like feel and adapt to what it is that each era means. So all of our attributes are in line with the respective eras, meaning like 90s might be Back to the Future, or maybe that's 80s. Don't quote me on that, please. Just certain things and certain attributes are going to be in line with that era that collection is from. But ultimately, we use those funds to bootstrap. We built a marketplace. We had an IDO, and now we kind of view ourselves as kind of the gaming-centric connector between the Kadena ecosystem and the gaming world. So ultimately, our long-term vision with Arkade is to be a universal platform that anybody can earn with. We want to add utility to all of the projects and NFTs on our marketplace through gaming. And all of the projects that we have launched in the past 6 months or so are all gaming aligned. So we really want to focus in and tune in on that aspect of retro gaming against kind of like the modern style of gaming, whether it's a 2D web scroller, a 3D metaverse style game that people want to do, or whatever it is. We want to be able to find a healthy balance between both worlds and help bridge together what we love about each aspect of Web 2 and Web 3.
Now, you mentioned your Bulls collection, and obviously the 80s Bulls and the 90s Bulls are completely done, but you just mentioned 2000 Bulls. Any information we can get on that, and if that's going to be in the near future?
Just to be completely transparent, the 2000s Bulls is something that it's in our pocket, and we definitely want to do something with that, but there's no timeline. We have a lot of stuff that we want to deliver first before we launch any more collections. And we kind of need to provide value to everything on our marketplace in a seamless way that all talks to each other. So I can't give too much alpha on that quite yet. But it's definitely something that we still have in our bag, and we for sure want to do something with it. But I have no alpha on the 2000s as of now.
No worries. You guys have put out some other amazing collections. Let's talk a little bit about them. Let's talk about Looney Bulls. A lot of people were really excited to get those Looney Bulls. Maybe if you want to just give a little bit of background about what they're about and what their utility is.
100%. So the Looney Bulls is a free airdrop that we gave to IDO participants back in, I want to say, September of 2022. The Looney Bulls itself were just kind of a thank you. It's a very limited collection. Norris may have the exact size of that collection off the top of his head, but I would have to take a look. I don't want to say anything inaccurate, but we wanted to gift the people that participated in our IDO with that. As of now, the utilities is yet to be determined. We know what it is, but we haven't made any announcements yet. So depending on what alpha Norris wants to give on that, then I will keep my mouth shut in the meantime. But ultimately, we want the Looney Bulls to kind of be one of the more unique collections, since there's not that many of them on Arkade. There hasn't been much love given to them publicly. We kind of been focusing on the staking of the 90s and Brawler Bears and 80s is directly correlated with Super Bowl, which is in the works at the moment. But Looney Bowls has something very special up its sleeve. So if Norris wants to elaborate on that, please feel free. But that's all I can share for now.
Hey, what's up, guys? No, I think we should hold off on that. I mean, we're announcing a lot of stuff right now. Sorry, I'm late. I don't know exactly what you guys have talked about, but right now, Brawler Bears is definitely the main focus. And then, of course, we got the Vortex, which is rebranded from the Time Machine, and then we got the Bull Blitz game. So, and then, of course, Super Bowl, which Patrick just mentioned. So after that, then we can, discuss Looney Bowls and what we want to do with all the other NFTs as well. But yeah, lots of fun stuff. It's really exciting.
Just to answer the one thing you said, Patrick, the Looney Bowls, according to your website, has a 340 count. So it is a very small collection comparable to all the other collections on the site. So just throwing that out there.
I was gonna say
so
I was gonna say 338. So I'm glad you saw 340 because I'm a perfectionist. I was like, Brad cannot be off on this. I should know this off the top of my head.
So let's break into the next big collection, which was the Brawler Bears. They are probably my favorite collection of all the ones you've released so far. And for the people that were involved with that, it pretty much everyone that had 80s Bulls got, was it you got one airdropped or was it just a whitelist? I forget exactly how it works. I know I have a Brawler Bears, but I don't remember minting it per se.
Yeah, so that was a rollover from Q3 or Q4 of 2022. We wanted to give an NFT airdrop, and I believe that we airdropped them to anybody who had an 80s or 90s Bull or Looney Bulls in their wallet. So it was just a free airdrop, and then we opened up a public sale for anybody that wanted to grab some the next day. It wasn't anything we promoted or anything like that, really. We just kind of highlighted it and was like, if you want to get more Brawler Bears, feel free. But yeah, everyone got a free airdrop of that on, I believe it was in March, if I'm not mistaken. And it was just for anyone that held any of our NFTs, whether it was 80s, 90s, or a Looney Bowl.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about what the next thing coming for the Brawlers is, which is very exciting, and that's the weapons. Can you maybe go into detail a little bit about what they entail and what their kind of use case is going to be in conjunction with the Brawler Bears themselves?
Yeah, definitely. I'll have Norris touch more on the Brawler Bears in depth than I will, but I'll introduce it and just kind of tell everyone what it is. So as everyone knows, Arkade is our brand, and ultimately what we're aiming to do, like I said prior, is we want to be the gaming centric ecosystem in Kadena. So we want people to be able to come to our website, play games, earn money or earn Arkade. I don't want to say money yet, legal reasons. And I also just want to say that we want you to be able to enjoy yourself. We don't want you to be on our website and we want anybody, whether you're an NFT collector, a gamer, or an enthusiast, to be able to enjoy our website, learn a little bit, and kind of have a good time. So Brawler Bears is going to be one of our first in-house games fully. Me, Alaf, and Norris have been building it. And it's honestly going to be probably one of the things that are going to set us up for the next few months. There's a lot of fun stuff coming up with that. And I'm sorry to walk on eggshells. I don't want to give too much alpha. I'm not sure what Norris wants me to share on this. But it's very exciting. I'll let Norris expand more. It's a strategy game kind of similar to other ones in the ecosystem and early games we may have played when we were kids. But I'll pass it off to Norris to speak a little bit on Brawler Bears.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. So it will be a PvP style game. You can play with the bears that you currently have. And since we've announced it, it's been really awesome to see everyone trading them in the marketplace. The floor price is growing. And we've had these weapons since before we even launched Brawler Bears, but we never mentioned it because we wanted to make sure we got the game all squared away. But essentially the way it's going to work is you have your Brawler Bear, you have your weapons, you can attach up to 3 weapons to each bear. And then also, this is something we haven't talked about at all, each bear already has a default attack. They're not necessarily called weapons, but each one has a default attack. So if you have, a certain type of eye trait or even a background trait or an existing item that's attached to your back, all those things also count as attacks. So you might already have attacks that haven't been displayed yet on your NFT, but once we launch the game, you'll see all those default attacks, and then again, you can add more weapons, more attacks to your bear, and you can interchange them. So if you have, you can have 2 attacks on one bear, 3 on another, switch them out if you want to, and then you're essentially battling in a 1v1 with someone. So you can go ahead and create your own battle. Someone then joins your battle, and then you fight, and you have a certain amount of actually have a default health power, and that's associated with the level of your NFT, which is all associated to the rarity of your items. So you have your default health power, and then you get to choose which attacks you want to attack the other bear with, and then whoever obviously depletes their health first loses, and then the person wins some arcade. They win some points to level up their bear, and then they increase in their levels, and as they increase in their levels, they increase in their default health power. And say you end a battle with 50 out of 312 health power, then you can actually go ahead and revive your bear. So we'll also have potions that you can go ahead and heal your bear. And it's all like a big game of strategy, similar to if you ever played Game Boy Pokemon growing up, or even some of the new Pokemons that are still coming out on like Nintendo Switch or so. But we're of course taking a much simpler approach here. So I think I touched on everything. But yeah, just be on the lookout for what item you're going to be airdropped. So that's going to happen on May 19th. You're going to be airdropped a mystery box, and all you have to do is click open, and that will open up the mystery box for an additional free attack. And again, they're going to be limited. So maybe you get like one lightning, Thor sword, and then maybe there's like 20 ropes that are available or so. So each item is also going to have its own rarity. And then you can go ahead and trade them on the marketplace afterwards. So if you're kind of sick of an item, you've used it enough and you want to try out something new, you can go ahead and trade it on the marketplace. And also, something I forgot to mention is we are keeping track of how many wins each bear has. So if you ever want to, battle with your bear, level up, maybe you started at a lower rarity or a lower level than another bear, but you've been grinding, you've been playing this game, and you want to level up your bear, it's going to show on the marketplace what level this is, how many wins this bear has, how many losses it has. So it'll show that ratio and what weapons are associated with it at the time that you're selling it. And I think that's going to really increase the entire improve the entire experience of trading your bears as well, versus just oh, you have this rare bear, maybe you got lucky when you minted it, or you got it at a low price, and then it is what it is. But now it's way more dynamic, and you can actually put effort into making your bear better and more powerful, and then go ahead and sell it on the marketplace if you decide to later, or just keep winning battles so you can win arcade. So it's a win-win on every angle.
Well, I have to say the weapons look pretty cool. If anyone hasn't seen, make sure you guys join the Arkade Discord. They dropped a sneak peek GIF of a bunch of the weapons in there today. And I have to say that loaf of bread looks OP. I'd have to say I think that's the one I'll be going for, is a loaf of bread, or maybe the bouquet of flowers. I think those will probably be very OP weapons that will just tear through bears. Because bears, maybe you'll get poisonous flowers that are poisonous to bears.
Or maybe the bread helps you be more strategic in your battle. Maybe the bread is maybe it's a +10 vitality healer that enables you to not lose off of the certain immunities that you may have. Who's to say?
I was thinking more like maybe certain bears are gluten free, and hitting them with the loaf of bread causes extra damage or something like that. But I will say though, the weapons are very cool, and is definitely going to be adding a whole new aspect to it. Now, when you equip the weapons, is it going directly into the metadata and will be actually visible in the NFT, or is it just something kind of visible within the game itself?
Correct. It'll be visible on the NFT.
Perfect. That's one of the great things about the Kadena NFTs and using it to its advantage is that you can do things like that. You know, a lot of other networks that have NFTs, pretty much whenever they want to do something like that, you're pretty much looking at burning your NFT and reminting a new one with the added traits. But luckily, we don't have to have that problem over here at Kadena, and people can really take advantage of that and make really cool things like you guys are doing with these bears. Now, I have a bear. My bear itself has dual axes on its back. Are those considered weapons already?
Yes, sir. Yep. So you already kind of have an advantage. Again, we haven't announced that verbatim, but yes, you do have an advantage that way. And if you don't have an attack on your back right now, it could be once again your eyes. You know, if you have some glowing eyes, that might be an attack. Or if you're holding an item in your mouth, like I believe there's a knife that you're holding, so that is also an attack. And if you don't have any of those things, then you have a default tackle attack as well. So every bear has that too. So again, it's a game of strategy. You know, you might get lucky with certain attacks now, but you have to kind of be smart with what you decide to equip your bear on that time of the battle, and if you have any potions that you're holding, so you can heal up mid match. So, yeah, there's a lot of strategy involved, definitely.
Now, going back to the games that you guys have built, there's one more that is also in the coming soon thing, and that is Arkade Brawlers. Can we maybe discuss a little bit about what that game's going to entail in case it hasn't been covered or people just don't really know too much about it?
Yeah, definitely. That Arkade Brawlers is ultimately a kind of Street Fighter style game that's in development very loosely. Like it's on a low priority currently. We want to get Brawler Bears out. We want to get all the stuff promised out first. But Arkade Brawlers ultimately is every project that's currently on our marketplace and slash website will be in our game as fightable characters. And I'm sure we'll copy over some mechanics from Brawler Bears with that. But Brawler Bears at the moment is the initial PvP priority, but Brawlers will be something similar to that, including every single project on the marketplace or project that has gone through our launchpad.
Awesome. I love all the games you guys have put out. Super Bowl is super fun to play. If anyone hasn't played that yet, go and give that a try. I always loved kind of like those side-scrolling type of games, and I always love it. And I still find myself even going back and playing like the Asteroids and Space Invaders and the Snake game, you know, just for that nostalgia feel of those old school games. Like I remember having one of those very first cell phones that had Snake on it, you know, like one of those old Nokia phones that pretty much had like just the little tiny small Snake game on it. So that always brings back really good memories for me. And that kind of seems like the theme that you guys are going with when it comes to your gaming is that nostalgia feel for people. It kind of fits in perfectly with the whole 80s and 90s bears, because these games are very 80s. Well, even some of them are earlier than 80s, like Asteroids and Space Invaders, but they all kind of run along that same kind of nostalgic 80s, 90s kind of feel when it comes to the games, which I think is really awesome, is really the good way to go, because things in life seem to be very reciprocal, and things, you know, always come back around, and things that were cool, you know, 30, 40 years ago are now starting to become cool again. So, you know, it's just kind of taking advantage and riding that wave as well, which is going to probably, I feel, is going to work out great for you guys.
100%, man, and we really appreciate that. And it's funny you say that because I like no BS. Probably an hour or two before this call, I found myself shopping for baggy jeans like it was 2003 again. So I hate to admit that on a call, but like you said,
you looking for some Jenkos? You're out there looking for some Jenkos?
I need them, man.
Big... Man, that takes me back to my early raver days of those big, huge huge bottom jeans that like the bottoms of them were about the size of the freaking waistline on them.
I remember.
Yeah, I remember.
I remember like the early days, not early days of the internet, but I remember like mid 2000s, I'd say like 2006 ish, before YouTube had ads. I remember like being on all these gaming forums watching, like everyone was obsessed with like those like Melvin Shuffle videos and stuff where people were wearing those jeans. So Good memory just unlocked, Chris, bringing that up. Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I saw a video was it the other day of something that said so 90s, and it was a guy rollerblading in Jinko jeans with like a headband and like a cut off sleeves t-shirt and with one of those big long chain wallets. I was just like, wow, that's just like my teen years in a nutshell right there.
Yep. So it's also funny. I've recently been playing Mario 64 on my Nintendo Switch recently on like the I think they have it's like an N64 emulator if you have like the $20 online subscription or whatever it is. So I've been playing Mario, and it's just really funny to look back and see how robust and deep that game is, from like the hidden Easter eggs to all the different worlds, all the different content. And when you look at it from like a development point of view, you kind of see that the developers had a general idea and a foundation of what they wanted to do, like the castle, rescuing the princess, Bowser, all that. But they really kind of took a bunch of different ideas and meshed it into like one foundation. And that's what we kind of want to do with Arcade, where it's like, thank you so much for enjoying Super Bowl and being able to play it and stuff like this in its early stage. We think we got the mechanics down, but as far as content goes and just kind of storyline, I feel like it's very empty inside. And we want to get Brawler Bears out, but once we get that out, we can focus on Super Bowl. Looking at the way they go about the different worlds and kind of go through all these different like eras and ideas, that is kind of the general idea that we have with the game. So it's like when I was a kid too, I used to play Diablo, and then I'd switch over to Counter Strike when I got burned out of Diablo. And we want people to be able to do that on Arcade, where it's like, I'm not in the mood to PvP. Maybe I want to speed run. Maybe I want to explore. Maybe I want to be strategic. We don't want you to be pigeonholed into one thing. But then we're like, oh, maybe you just want to play Asteroids and think you're on like your Nokia phone in 2006 again. You know, like we kind of want you to be able to have options on our platform, and those options are what ultimately are going to enable us to be a bit more universal than a typical like gaming experience. You know, we don't want you to have to only play this and not have an option, because at the end of the day, people want options. People want to go to different places. They want to do different things. Some people might not even like gaming, but they might want a utility added to the art and NFT that they're buying on our website. So it all needs to talk to each other and kind of like correlate and correspond. And the synergy amongst everything on Arcade needs to be there. So that's why we took a step back from like launching projects for a time being, and just for like, hey, let's make sure the gaming's up to date, because we feel like we're neglecting that audience of our website. And once everything's full circle, we're really excited to where things can go.
Yeah, it's crazy to think back to the development of those old 64 Nintendo games and stuff, considering like a game that's as robust as Super Mario Brothers 64 is only 64 megabytes of data. Like when we think about that, like that's a short video nowadays. So it's crazy to believe how much they were able to spread that out and make these amazing robust games. It's just kind of blows my mind, considering like nowadays you're looking at what 150 gigabytes for a game like a new Call of Duty or something like that.
Dude, I just installed the Diablo 4 server slam beta that released this afternoon. I think it released like 2 hours ago, or an hour and a half ago, or something like that. And that took almost, it was like 59 gigabytes of data just for like a weekend beta release, or however long it is. I haven't been keeping up, but it's insane. And I was on PlayStation last night, and I looked at just the PS Plus store, and there's a game on there I came across called, I think it's Anodyne, Anodyne, and it just is kind of like a pixelated, looks like a Game Boy Pokemon Gold style graphics, and it's only 92 megabytes of data. So I'm just like, a lot of these early games, it's so crazy how robust they are and how much they're able to do with just like such little. Like you said, like I think a 4K video on my phone that I record for 5 seconds is bigger than some of these games that we grew up on.
Yeah, like look at the original Nintendo games, like the original Zeldas and stuff, and original Final Fantasies, and how big they were, considering they had such limited space to be making these games on these cartridges and stuff. So it's quite amazing to see. Like they were definitely ahead of their time, looking back at what we have now.
100%. And it's funny. I'm going to say this too on this call, but this is the beauty of the era that we're living in. When you think about it, all those games are timeless classics that all of us can go back and play, no matter what game it is, whether it's Final Fantasy or anything. we all have that one game, if you grew up gaming, that you always go back to no matter how outdated it is. You're not going to get any trophies or accomplishments for it. You're not going to stream it on Twitch and, become a huge streamer overnight, but you're just doing it for the like personal satisfaction that game gives you. And being in this era where we kind of can control, like if you think about it, what we want to do with Arcade, if you just take an API and you're able to hit a game's database and kind of let people play those games and hit specific rewards, whether you're playing for 1 hour a day and you can earn stars, or get five kills on Fortnite or Call of Duty and you can unlock a skin or whatever. It's so cool that methodology right there is able to attach to any game ultimately in the world if you have access to the database. And growing partners and doing a lot of these things on the line, we think that is going to be like play to earn gaming, and just kind of like the tokenomics of that over the years have been kind of iffy. People want to do P2E, but the tokenomics gets depleted because of a non-rolling economy basis and all those things. But if you think about it, you can really make any game out there kind of rewarding, whether it's new, whether it's old, just off of an API and off of offering daily challenges or weekly challenges and just tracking all that stuff in a database for rewards. And that's really what we want to do here. So it's just so cool that we all kind of understand the skeleton of P2E and of early gaming, but we're in the era now where we can actually do all these creative and unique concepts with it. And yeah, it's ambitious, but it's 100% doable, if that makes sense.
Now, you mentioned rewards or kind of activities and things like that. And one of the new activities you guys can do on your website is the staking of both the Brawler Bears and the 90s Bulls. So maybe for those who don't know that that even is an option or a thing, can you maybe go into a little bit about what that entails and what all people can do with their 90s Bulls and their Brawlers? And we also had a question in the commented on the space, and that is about the Brawler Bears and the game, and if you're going to be able to play the game with your bears while they are staked, or if you would have to unstake them.
Great question. I'll let Norris speak on the staking aspect, and we can kind of just bounce off of each other with that. So yeah, Norris, if you want to discuss that portion, then I'll kind of piggyback off you with what you want to share on that.
Yeah, to answer your question about whether you can play the game while your bear's staked, I think for now, yes. I'll need to really double check. That's how it's currently set up, but we've been in discussion about that possibly not being the case. So don't quote me on that, but currently you can stake your Brawler Bears for Arcade. You can stake your 90s Bulls, and we'll actually be opening up staking to some other collections on our marketplace as well. So we've had, I don't know if we can share yet. What do you think?
Not quite yet. Okay. Not quite yet.
There's like 3, maybe 4 other collections on Arcade that want to implement staking as well. So you'll probably see that unfold after we release these games. So the Arcade, will be a huge feature that's going to continue to expand on Arcade. But touching on other features as well, once again, I had mentioned that we rebranded the Time Machine as the Vortex. So we'll be using that to burn a lot of NFTs to burn them and in return get a Trippy Bull. So if you saw any sneak peeks for the Trippy Bulls, they're really sick. We haven't shown too many sneak peeks, but that's going to be really exciting as well. So, there's a few projects on our site that, you can put into there, and some we haven't announced quite yet, but, just keep in mind there's some NFTs on Arcade that might not have utility right now, or no plans for utility, and we haven't heard too much from the teams, or maybe we have and they're no longer around. Not to name any names yet, but we'll be using the Vortex, so you can burn those NFTs and get a Trippy Bull, which will have the same utility as the 90s Bulls. So there'll be that star power. You can earn X amount of stars at a certain rate, and then you also be able to play them in the Bull Blitz game, which we had mentioned as well. So, if you hold any NFTs that are kind of just like lingering there and you're like, what the heck, no one's buying them, they haven't heard from the team, what's going on. We want to make sure that we take care of everyone and reward everyone for their patience. Of course, we're not necessarily responsible for those teams. However, we do, feel for our community since we have hosted these NFTs. So we want to make sure that we can reward everyone who's kind of been patient through that process. So that's also really exciting.
Yeah, and just to kind of add to that as well, I've touched on it in certain discords and things of that nature that projects may not be around or things happen that are out of our control, and I kind of have done my part to get in contact with the founders and take control in certain places. I don't want, like I said, I don't want to name names at the moment, and a lot of things are still in the works and conversations. But that was not a big that was kind of part of us pausing the launchpad. We understand that shout out, I see Ron in here. Shout out the Wizards. They set the bar very high for what to expect of utility on Kadena. And I think NFTs in general, which can kind of be a huge reference point for a lot of people launching here and elsewhere. And we want people to be able to buy an NFT with complete confidence that the team's going to deliver on what it is. We started off an NFT project. We used a lot of those funds to kind of turn it into what we are now. So kind of like an indirect bootstrap method. But like Norris said, we're not directly responsible for those, but we feel it's in our duty to do our part to make sure that even though we cannot change or fix that, we can provide a solution that still benefits people and doesn't necessarily let those NFTs go to quote unquote waste. And just people have asked about kind of like the launch pad and our onboarding process of that. And I'll touch on that. Ultimately, what it is we would vet the art, we would reverse image search it, we would discuss plans. If someone applied to our launchpad, like if you applied Monday, you couldn't be approved Tuesday. It was a multi-week process that we kind of went through everything. We use Onfido and Circle and SumSub, our KYC, not partners, but providers, I should say, with this in this scenario to verify identities. It's held on that database. And if a project didn't deliver that, then, we kind of find ourselves in a position too, where we were also kind of lied to. And granted, it's the internet. You can't control all these things, but we think the Trippy Bowls would be a kind of a unique way to, a unique way to kind of refresh that collection and revamp that in certain communities that might still be around. You haven't heard from the founders. They might become community ran projects soon. We have conversations about that, but nothing I can share quite yet.
No, I definitely hear you on the whole projects coming and going. I spent a good 5 hours, I'd so say today, just going through our own Kadena Ecosystem website and checking over all of the different projects, going into their socials, seeing what's up. And yeah, there has been a few projects that have kind of fallen a little bit off the radar with no real communication from the teams, the community members asking questions in their socials and not really getting any responses. And hopefully that doesn't necessarily mean that these projects are, dead in the water, but maybe we'll see, like you said, revivals of them from the community, kind of like what happened with Alpha Slayers and things like that, where community members kind of step up and take over the project. So hopefully we'll see some more of that come to fruition soon.
Correct. And yeah, shout out to Hypercent, the way they handled that. I'm good friends with Andre, and we talk quite often through Telegram and so forth on the side, nothing public. But yeah, like I said, like it's just hard because people might present plans. And another thing that we looked at too is like, if someone's providing us an 80-page white paper, we see through that fluff, like you send us a 1-page pitch deck and kind of explore your ideas and discuss them. And that's usually a bit more robust and telling than an 80-page white paper with no real substance to it, And something else just to add on that front, like shout out to you for going through that, because I know how long it takes to just update links and all that stuff. Those are small things that they seem like they're not that big of tasks, but they're so tedious, and it takes a lot of work to like kind of make sure all the links are pointing to the right area and vetting the socials and all that stuff. That's a lot of work. So shout out to you on that, Chris. But yeah, like just in my personal opinion, I just think that the ecosystem is in an era now where it doesn't matter what it is. Like if you're launching a meme or you're doing anything of that nature and you have good plans and you have whatever, it's like a meme or a not docs team is not it does not equal a rug directly, in my opinion, because there's plenty of projects that have been docs, that have done AMAs, that have been front facing, and where are they now? So the way I kind of look at it is, what are they delivering? What are they promising? What have they done? No one's going to get it perfect for out the box. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do. Even the best developers in the world make mistakes. But at the end of the day, what are you going to provide to the community, and how are you going to go about it? And, how genuine are you being? And I think that's kind of where we are. We've all been in the ecosystem a very long time, to the point where we can kind of see through a lot of these, a lot of the fluff, I would say. But in my personal opinion, I just think that, if someone's here in Kadena, and no matter what they're building, no matter what they're doing, if they're doing it if it's genuine, and you can tell that they care, I believe that all of those people kind of deserve a platform. Because, like I said, we started off as an NFT project, and look where we are now in under 1 year. And I think people that have genuine intentions will do something similar, and even bigger and better than some of the projects that we might know today. So I'm excited for the next 6 months of Kadena. I know the bear market has been rough for all of us, and that's kind of what the Brawler Bears was. We wanted to poke fun at the bear market and show, like, you can build through this, even though it might not be a direct return. You can still have fun. You can still sit here and trade, collect, build, and even though you might not, I guess, make money from it, there's still a lot of work to be done here, and these are the things that set the projects apart, that survive the bear markets, in my opinion.
I think a perfect example of a project that isn't super communicative, doesn't really have a fully doxed and out in the public team, but has continuously provided and built up their project. I think the perfect example of that is KittyCads. Like one of the very first NFT projects, the people behind it aren't, super out there. I don't even think most people even know who is actually even behind KittyCads, but like they were kind of dormant for a couple months and so, but it was obvious that they were building their breeding system in the background, which they've now released. And now they have 2 generations of NFTs. They have a way for you to breed 2 of your KittyCads to get a brand new one, which is, I think that's a first in the Kadena NFT space, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, well, I guess Galena's kind of had the first breeding aspect kind of thing, and that's another one that has been around forever, where I guess Squiggy's now kind of coming out a little bit more in the open with swarms and everything, because he's been doing AMAs and things. But it does go to show that as long as the team behind it has passion and drive, and are real and true to wanting to produce an actual product and produce an actual project, that just being fully doxed and all that things isn't necessarily a deal breaker, because we've seen projects that are fully doxed that have fallen to the wayside and things like that. So it's really doesn't necessarily is the deciding factor when it comes to a project succeeding or not. There's lots of different factors that bring into that. So it's just a matter of doing your own, the basic crypto saying of do your own research, making sure that you feel safe and you feel comfortable investing or whatever, or buying into the projects that you like. It really just comes down to that. We at Kadena Ecosystem, we try to stay as neutral as possible, but there are certain things that we kind of have to step back a little bit from, and make sure that we kind of give them the space to grow before we kind of fully step into promoting, throwing promotion behind them, just because of what's happened in the past and things that the way the community has been burned in the past on certain projects and things like that. So it definitely is a give and take, but it seems like you guys have definitely found a nice little comfort zone to fall into, because all the projects that are on your marketplace and on your space right now, in my opinions, are fairly decent, kind of top-notch projects, and they all, like you said, they're all kind of going towards the same kind of theme of that gaming theme, which there's lots of really cool projects that seem to be popping up. And I think gaming, GameFis and NFTs are going to be a next big thing, because we've even seen Sony and other big, huge game names come out and say that they're as well working on NFTs and bringing that into the gaming sphere. So, there's really nowhere to go but up from here. And I believe that that's going to be the next iteration, is gaming NFTs.
100%. We actually laughed about it in our personal group chat where we talked about everything and all this stuff. When PlayStation announced PlayStation Stars, we're like, how typical that we use the same name Stars. Like, even though Sony might have to talk to us, we did it first. But it's just funny seeing people like big name people like Sony tapping into that realm and kind of like doing a formula that we were talking about doing, and we're like, okay, this is all the validation that big projects, small projects, and everything in between needs. Like, if the multi-billion-dollar corporations are doing it, there's something there. So no matter how big you smaller are, you don't need the whole pie. Everyone can get crumbs and be very happy. And I always say, we don't have to hit a home run every time, as long as we can just get on base and make sure that we're doing things right. We're chipping away. We're being active. We're making sure that we are, transparent and communicating. Everything might not be right, but as long as you're active and working, it's this. I hate the saying, but the sky's the limit. Like, you can do anything that you want to do as long as you just stay active with it and stay consistent and don't overpromise. That's a big one too.
Now, there's one thing that has just happened over the last few days, which I'm very happy to see, and that is a new addition in the wallets available on Arkade. I don't know if you guys maybe want to talk a little bit about that and let people know what is now an option besides the usuals that they were used to.
Big time. So if in case anyone missed the announcement, we finally, long overdue, our apologies, but we finally got Koala Wallet added to Arkade. We are extremely excited to finally get this integration going, and there's a lot of exciting things to come with that. I'll let Norris talk a bit more specifics on that front, but we're extremely excited to get this. We wanted to add Koala during our website revamp, but we didn't quite get there yet. But now we added it. You should see it. I believe it's a second drop down currently on Arkade, and the formatting, and it's not reflective of anything. So you can be the top one, you can be the bottom one. Every wallet's on there. It's not. We're not endorsing any use of wallet, but we're extremely excited to have Koala on there. And shout out to you guys. We're pumped.
Yeah, we were super pumped as well to see that addition being added. And, it makes sense to kind of wait, because we were having that issue with Apple not wanting to push through our release that had Wallet Connect in it for iOS, which now has luckily been resolved, and we shouldn't hopefully see any issues moving forward with our releases with iOS. We did release another update directly after that, like a couple of days or maybe a week or so after that one went through, and it went through no problem. I think maybe the reviewers are just like, okay, we've messed with these guys enough. Let's just kind of push their reviews through now. Because yeah, it was really touch and go there for a while. I don't know if you guys have ever had to deal with Apple in their app store. Yeah, so yeah, sometimes it seems like every time you put a release in, you don't get the same reviewer. It's like they keep getting random people and have to keep telling them the same things over and over, and it can be very frustrating.
Google is easy. Last time I uploaded an app on both stores, it was Google was easy. Apple took a much longer than I would have liked, but I think it was like about 5 days, but it wasn't Web3 related or anything like that. But what we used to do as like a workaround, and I'll send you a link for this, is if you ever run into issues again, or you want to test something beta with like a small amount of people, I use this website. I don't want to say it because I'll butcher the name, but it's like DIAWI, and it allows local installations of an app, so you can test it and things like that before it gets on the iOS store while you're going through that review process and stuff. And I know Apple's very tricky with kind of what they accept on the App Store. So kudos to you all for getting it through, because it's no easy feat by any means. And like you said, you don't get the same reviewer. It's always different. I'm sure they do that due to like bias things, whatever the case may be. But I think they just want to. I think the first code review is usually what takes the longest, and then after that, like little iterations here and there, and small pushes and daily changes. I think they kind of usually let that fly and get that through much quicker. But iOS is no joke uploading to the App Store. There was a point in time when everyone was in that unicorn phase in like 2015, 2016, learning Swift and trying to get an app on the App Store. I think like pre-React Native days, where you had to build two separate apps. And it could take forever. So that brought me back to a weird place. I tried to upload so many things to the App Store, and I thought it was genius and groundbreaking. And Apple's like, "Yeah, sorry, try again." You're like, "Damn it."
Yeah, the things that they mostly have a problem with us is they were asking for things like, what's the password and account usernames and stuff like that. And we're like, it's a crypto wallet. There is no usernames or passwords. It's like, we can give you a test phrase if you want a test phrase, you could to start up a thing, but even then all they had to do was literally click one button, create wallet, and it would have made the wallet for them. But it is what it is. We're past that now. Plus we have a long extensive, our team comes from a very long extensive history of mobile wallets and dealing with Apple. So we have other tricks up our sleeves as well to make sure that those kind of things don't happen. But we seem to have lucked out now and seem to be on the right track. So hopefully we won't see any of the more hiccups like that. And one of the things that we are working on next is going to be an extension version of Koala Wallet. I don't know if any of you guys follow our CEO, Kobe Lazar, on Twitter. He posted a little sneak peek picture of a little koala logo in the extension lineup today. We've had our devs working on that pretty hard. So there's just going to be another option for people to be able to use that. And if you for those listening, if you guys have a Mac with a 12 chip set, an M12 chip or above, you can actually run iOS apps on a MacBook and things like that now. So you could actually run Koala Wallet on a Mac that way right now. So there is different other options as well. I've actually been considering getting a MacBook just for the reason of running Twitter on a computer, so I can use my snowball microphone and things like that for doing these spaces and have music and all that kind of stuff. Because I've tried with my PC, I've tried like BlueStacks emulator, I've tried all these different emulators, and they just don't seem to work very well. But I would love to have. But I don't have a MacBook yet, but we do have people that I work with that do, and I'm going to have them try and tell me how it works and see if it works very well for that, because I would love to be able to do that. I've been trying to do them on my iPhone, but just not the same. It would be nice to have a PC version, but I don't know if there's any other kind of alpha that you guys want to drop or any topics you feel like we may have missed. But maybe also if anyone listening may have any questions, they could feel free to send in an invite to speak. But this has been great catching up with you guys. And like I said, I've been loving everything I've seen so far and can't wait to see what kind of weapon I get dropped to my Brawler Bear. I'm really got my fingers crossed on that loaf of bread.
We appreciate you, Chris. As far as alpha goes, I think we touched on most things. We still have to leave a tad bit of mystery, and apologies if we touched on a plethora of topics. I know oftentimes it can be hard to follow, but we're working on a lot of exciting things, and I hate hopping on Space's calls and being like, oh, we're building, what's to come, this, that, but we like dropping sneak peeks. We like showing you. I know we're a tad more quiet than usual with our marketing, but like I said, it's just a reflection of all of us wearing so many hats and doing so many different things during the day. Some alpha that I guess I can give is Norris and I are working on a landing page that is coming. Not really a landing page, just when you go to the arcade.fun website, you jump straight into the games, and we think there needs to be a buffer between that. So we think we're going to highlight our partners a tad more and so forth when you come to the main page of Arcade. And then from there, you can drop down to menus of NFTs, gaming, Vortex, better known as Time Machine, prior. And we're going to kind of make it a tad more user-friendly, both user-friendly for the most vetted Kadena expert out there, and then newcomers who may learn of us later, come to the Kadena ecosystem later. we feel like we want to give you a good balance and not jump you straight into content. So the website itself feels like it has a bit more life to it, if that makes sense. But that's really all I have for alpha. Norris or Cody, if you have anything that you want to share, please let me know. But ultimately, I think I'm good on the alpha front. And if anyone wants to hop up or drop questions in the chat, please feel free. Like I said, we work on a lot of different things and we're all over the place wearing a lot of different hats, but I'm happy to answer any complex questions or, just small things that you may have asked or Discord that could have been missed. Just let me know.
I would love to see on this landing page possibly a team section where the little blurbs about each of you, because all of you guys seem to have some really cool backgrounds and things like that. And you've pretty much doxed. I think most of your teams has been pretty much doxed at this point. So is that going to be an option? One of the sections on the new landing page, a team or an about section?
Yeah, we need to have that. We actually wanted to get that into the website revamp, but for whatever reason, we just decided, let's just get this out. I think we wanted to get it out because so many people are waiting for it, and there were so many other bugs that we had to roll out. So we were just like, let us do that later. And now 2 months has passed, so it's long overdue. But yeah, we'll have something like that. And all of our team is not doxed. We have some partners and also some people that act as kind of like mentors that are going to be a tad more behind the scenes, but they're part of the team. So maybe we'll just add a PFP for them. But for the most part, the three founders, me, Norris, and Alaf, are very much out there, both Telegram, Katie Launch website, and in our Discord channel. There's a real life face and real names attached to it. But yeah, we do need to add that. And we'll have a team section. We'll have a partner section and a couple other things that I'm thinking of talking about, but I'm going to hold off for now.
One thing I'll mention that I don't know if you guys have really even brought up, and that is the fact that you guys have kind of partnered with us at Koala Wallet in the sense that you're an affiliate for our swag. I don't know if maybe you want to mention that and what maybe people can take advantage of that and how they can.
Yeah, big time. So for the time being, we've paused our personal merch store, but we've partnered with Koala on on kind of doing like a merch thing. We have a graphic designer in-house, and she's amazing. That's making all of our kind of things. But I think just for some alpha, we're going to do like whether it's a hoodie, t-shirt, or hat. Those tend to be the most common things that people in Web3 like. And the design aspect that I propose that I think we're going to push forward is it's an inspired by Mario block, which will have the Koala Wallet logo in it, just a koala face, and then it will be Billy the Bull. If you look at Cody.funds PFP, if he's in here, it'll be him kind of jumping up, hitting that, and that's going to be our merch collab. So you'll be able to get that on the Koala Wallet website and their merch site, and we will be probably adding a small thing on our website too to route people over to that.
And don't forget, when people purchase through swag.koalawallet.io, when you guys check out, make sure you use discount code Arkade30. That will
100%.
get you 30% off your entire order. So make sure you guys definitely go and check that out. But I want to thank you guys both for coming and joining me today and catching up on all the awesome things you guys have been working on. Very exciting work. I'm very happy to be working alongside with you guys. And like I said, if there's anything else that you guys ever need from us, we have direct open chat. So feel free to always reach out and let us know if you guys need anything from any of us here at Eucalyptus or at Kadena Ecosystem.
Likewise, Chris, and thank you all so much for tuning in. Arkade 30 will be on our website shortly once we get this merch collab kind of finalized. So no need to make a note now. It'll be on our website for an easy processing on order on swag.koalamerch.io. Did I say that right, Chris? I probably butchered it, so don't quote me.
No, swag.koalawallet.io. Yeah, that's right.
There we go.
Awesome.
So yeah, before we hop off, is there any questions? We're right at the 1 hour mark. If anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to hop up and request to speak or drop it in the chat. But if not, we'll hop off here in a minute or two.
For sure. And if you guys do have any follow-up questions or anything, make sure you guys follow Arkade on Twitter. Get involved in their Discord. Their Discord is very active. The team is always in there willing to answer any questions that you may have. So there's lots of ways to be able to converse with the folks over there at Arkade and find out and keep up with what they've been working on. They're dropping sneak peeks of things all the time. Like I said, they dropped a gift today of the weapons for the Brawler Bears. Lots of little cool things. Even got like, they're dropping the characters from the Arkade Brawlers. They've been dropping some sneak peeks of that as well. Lots of really cool things to go look at. So if you guys don't have any questions right now, like I said, make sure you follow them there. Make sure you join their Discord. Join all of their channels. They have a Telegram too. You can go to their page on KadenaEcosystem.com/explore/arcade and see all of their social links there as well. But once again, thank you both, Patrick and Norris, for joining me today. It's been really great catching up, and hopefully we can do this again really soon.
100%. Thank you, Chris, for hosting this, and thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Any questions, please let us know. We are an open book, so enjoy the weekend, everyone, and take care. Thank you again, Chris. And don't forget, Mother's Day is Sunday, so make sure you all take care of your mothers this upcoming week.
Yes, good reminder. I almost forgot myself. So, yeah, thank you very much for everyone for joining and listening to our AMA today. Very much appreciative of Arkade for coming by. And like I said, give them a follow them on Twitter, join their Discord, get involved, and stay up to date with everything that they're working on. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming and listening today, and have a great day. Take care.
That wraps up another amazing AMA. Thank you for listening. Here at KPN, we strive to bring an open platform for projects being built on Kadena to present themselves to the community. Please ensure to do your own research on each project before investing. Also ensure to follow us on all our social media, from Twitter to subscribing to our weekly newsletter, to ensure to keep up to date on everything KDA related. You can find all the links in the description below. Take care.